Kalkadosh Boker Or. In this week's parasha, listen to this idea. It says, Ani Hashem Elokechem asher hotzeti etchem meretz Yitzrayim. I am Hashem, your God, that I took you out of the land of Egypt. Miyot lahem avadim, that you guys were slaves. Va'eshbor mototu lechem, and I will break. We're going to say on top of you, this yokes which are on top of you, and you will go outstretched. Va'olech etchem, I will take you. Commute. What does that mean? The koma zekufa, back straight. There was once a rabbi that used to take one of the Gdolei Ador every single morning. He used to take him to Shachrit. And one morning he had the courage to ask his Rabbi, and he tells him, Rabbi, I realize every single morning you come and every goy, you tell him, Boker Tov, right? You come, you say, good morning. But he says, when you see a Jew, doesn't matter who it is, all you do is you bend your head. You don't even say Shalom. You don't say nothing. Is there a reason? He didn't understand. Like, by the goy, Boker Tov, by the Jew, bows his head. What's going on? So he says, the rabbi answers him, Sim Lev, you should know that the goyim, I come and I give them a blessing, but bekoma zekufa, outstretched. Why? I will never bow my head to the goy. But to my brothers, he says, even to a small child, I will come and I'll bend my head. Why? It gives them kavod, that they are exalted, they're very, very high up. And that's even greater than any type of a beracha that I would be able to give them. Meaning the student just realized that a Rebbe is either saying Boker Tov or nothing, just bowing the head. He says, no, the other one I'm saying it, outstretched. I will never bow. But to the Jew, even a small boy, I'll bow my head. Give them kavod, the exalted. So this parasha, in this week's parasha, the Torah comes and it says all the different conditions that we need for Am Yisrael to live in Ben Eretz Yisrael, right? And one of them, it starts off with huge berachot. That it's if we go in the Chukot Torah, and Chas Shalom, if we don't, we have the other way around. All they're not berachot. They're not that nice berachot. The Sechet the berachot, it comes in and finishes with this pasuk, right? What exactly does it mean, komimiyut? Right? Why? Because in the Torah, we don't see this word komimiyut. What does that mean? The Yerushalmi says, bekomaz zekufa. What does that mean? The Midrash says that we shouldn't be afraid of anybody. We should not be afraid of no one. That's what the Midrash comes and it says. But then the question says, one second. The Gemara in Kiddushin says, Kol ha'olech bekomaz zekufa, kilu dochek raglei Shekhinah. If you're going to go with your outstretched like this, high up, it's as if that you're pushing the Shekhinah. What's going on exactly? So the answer is that we have to differentiate between Zekifot Kuma Ishit, which comes from Gava, and Zekifat Kuma Yehudit, which comes from knowing who we are. Right? Because just like a person, right, he says, has to distance himself from haughtiness, and he has to act modestly, so too you have to know, though, that you have to walk with your head up high, right, because of our Yahadut, because of our religion. And therefore we have to be strong with Kvod Am Yisrael Ba'olam in the world, and in Eretz Yisrael especially, just like the tefillah we say in Yamin Doraim, Uvchen ten kavod le'amecha, simcha le'artzecha, v'sason le'irach. Right? Why? Because we're actually asking that. Give the kavod to your nation. Kevodam shel Yisrael is the kavod of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And if Chas v'Shalom, there's going to be something in Israel. So he says, so there's also going to be a mitchalel Shem Shamayim also as well. It's going to be a chilul Hashem as well. And therefore, that on this it says, put up your heart to walk in the path of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So Rav Yerucham, the Mashkiach of Mir, he comes and he says in his Sefer, that he explains it with Rabbeinu Tam. Rabbeinu Tam says in Sefer Yashar, a proof, right, that he says, how do we know that after, when it comes to Tchiyat HaMetim, we will still live on? He says, you know why? Very, very simple. He says, did you ever realize that the animals, right, they always go bekomaz zekufa. They're always bowing. They're always going on four. A human being is always going outstretched. Why? He says, because the animal, since it comes from the afar, it's timshechet el yisoda. It goes to its where it comes from. which is the earth. So it's on all four on the earth. He says, and that's why he's bending down. The human being is always upwards because our neshama comes on the top. And therefore, we're always, as if to say, coming to try to get from the top. So therefore, he comes and he says, in the entire Bria, the entire creation, whether we're talking about the domain, Somea Chai, we're talking about the inanimate objects, the growing objects, or the living objects like the animals, there's also spiritual concepts there. And in every single limb of a human being, in every single sinu, and everything, there's something there. Because everything has something to do with doing, fulfilling the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And even if he comes and it says the tseva, the color of the whether we're talking about the leaves, whether we're talking about the vegetables, there's a reason for it. There's something spiritual there. Not just stam. We take that selek, right? That the beets are going to be purplish, right? Or that the carrots are going to be orange, or that the radish is going to be white, right? He says, "Im yerek is adom," right? If it's going to be red, it means that there's something there to do with the world, and that means everything. Now, obviously, we don't know all these secrets, right? Obviously, it had to, but there's a reason for it. The behemot and the chayot, they come. The animals and the domesticated and wild animals, they come and they go on four. Their head is always with their body. It's always towards downwards. And that's because also their ruchaniyut is also very low. He says, and therefore in this world, they don't have a big job. There's nothing really cooking for them. Right? Why? Because everything has to do with, that's for its purpose. And that's why Shlomo Melech comes and he says, that it goes up. It goes down. And you see it. The animal is down on four. It's connected to the ground, but even its head, it's on the same level. And it's facing down. It's always there. He says the human being is not like that. He says that Adam, he goes, Komaz Kufa. He says, not just stam like that. It's a sign. What's our purpose in this world? Our purpose is we have to go with a outstretched, high up, and we have to actually understand our jobs. And therefore, when a child comes and he's born, he's still going on four. And little by little, he comes and he starts getting that his head is up high. Because Ruach Ben Adam, they always go upwards. Nishmato zachelek melokam imala. And it always continues growing up and up. And that's why he comes and he says, right, just like you find by the fire, it will never change, right, from going upwards. And the water will never change from going downwards, right? The same thing is in the neshama of a human being as well. So it comes and he finishes the Marana Mashkiach and he says, Zekifut komar ruchanit. He says, when you're going to pick yourself up spiritually, there's no difference. You cannot come and connect that to the ga'ava of a human being. The purpose of Zekifat Kuma is in order to stop a person from falling downwards, just like the animals. It says in Mishreh, Ora Chaim Lemala Maskil, right? Lema'an Sur Misheol Mata. What does that mean? Kiddushat, the sanctity of a human being, he says it's coming from the Kiddusha of the Neshama. And therefore, it's always picking a person up. And he says, and that's what the Rabbeinu Tam meant when he said that we know that afterwards the human being will exist after 120 for Tzchiyat HaMetim. Now we could actually understand the Targum Yerushalmi from the word komiyut, bekomah zekufa. The Targum says cheruta. What is cheruta? A free man, right? It's free. So he says it's a nikudah ruchaniyut of bekomah zekufa. Why? Because he's cherut, he's free, right? What does that mean? We know that he's coming upwards. He's ben chorin. What's a ben chorin? A person that's a free man. So according to this, now we understand Birkat Torah Tam Yisrael. If we go Behukotai Torah, we are va'olech etchem commute. Just like HaKadosh Baruch Hu B'chvodo V'atzmo took us out of Egypt, and he took us out from all the tum'ah and everything that it was, and he gave us the matana, he gave us freedom, cheruta nefesh, and then afterwards we were mekabel, right? The Torah and everything, like Mamlechet Kohanim V'Goy Kadosh. So too in the future, if the Jews are going to properly act like Jews, we are going to be zocheh to this high up, right, commute as well. And that is, in essence, is the exact opposite when we fall. When we fall, Adam Rishon was asked, he comes, like Kadosh Baruch Hu asks him, Ayeka. What's Ayeka? Where are you? Yeah, where are you? So he comes and he says, right, the Tshuvat Adam was that he went and he hid himself because he realized that he didn't have any clothing. HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him, who told you don't have good clothing? Obviously, you ate from the Etzadat, which means, Hadam Sodek. Sniyut is mechayevet that we should hide ourselves, especially when we're speaking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But the Khatam Sofer explains that after Adam Rishon sinned, he became all sad. He became depressed because he thought that he lost everything, and therefore he can never go back up. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells him, who told you you're without clothing? Did you eat from the tree? Meaning, when a person comes and he carries a sin, he feels that he's without clothing. He feels that he's revealed. And he comes and he says, and therefore Kilu, that he doesn't have any koach, he doesn't have any strengths. He says, this is what Adam Rishon comes when a person falls. When he falls, he feels that he's revealed. He feels that he, why? Because the bigadim, the clothing, is the kochot of the nefesh. So after he falls, he thinks that he lost everything. But the truth is, that's only just stam. Why? The person has to believe that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave it to him in order to fight. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him the power to come and to do this. And therefore he comes and he says, right, in order to actually fix the sin, you have to believe that you still have a lot of those kochot. You still have those powers. And therefore you're supposed to fight and continue going in order that you should go back to the original status quo. And that's why, B'ezrat Hashem, we come and we say, what does that mean? We come and we ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu that you should bring us back, meaning never be afraid of who you are. We as Jews is to be proud. We have to stand tall, never bend the head. We never bow. We're always going to your friend, yes, 100%, but never to the goyim. Because the goyim, we have to stand tall and we have to show exactly who we are. That we go b'komaz kufa, and that doesn't come because of gava. That comes because of understanding the strengths that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us. That ani chelek melokam imal, we come from Hashem, and therefore we have to actually come and show HaKadosh Baruch Hu that we are 100% with Him in everything that we do, B'ezrat Hashem.